Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to my stream. My name is Doña. Where's my hand? There it is. That's DJ. Welcome to my stream. Again, my name is Doña, aka Doña the Light. Today we're going to be discussing perfectionism. If you're catching this live stream on Twitch, thank you for being here. Please feel free to contribute to the chat. If you're catching this replay on YouTube, thank you for watching. And leave me a thumbs up, like, and a comment below, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel. Those are all really great free ways to support my channel and help my videos get in front of more people. Jones is here.
No, Mom, it's just a chat.
I know, but he has to be here in order to put the thing in the chat. Okay, watch your feet real quick.
That's a Gray Jones.
That's a Gray Jones?
He's a chat.
I know, he's gonna say something. Don't worry.
Can I say hi to Jones?
Yeah. Hold on a second, buddy.
Okay.
I need to write this down. Alright, today we're going to be discussing not only perfectionism, but...
I don't know how to draw my tablet.
That's okay, buddy. But how we can heal from the ways that it shows up in our lives.
Are you on there?
No, hold on.
Oh! Hi, DJ. Hey, Jones. What? What? How are you doing, Jones? I'm looking good.
You're feeling good today, buddy?
Yeah. I'm eating. Well, one more time. I was trying to draw. What's up?
Okay.
Can you put that on there?
Yeah. Alright, friends. So... Alright, here you go, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
We are doing good, love. How are you feeling?
Jones.
And you see the top of his head?
Jones. That looks funny.
Alright. Buddy will be here soon, I'm sure. Been up early for reasons. Reasons I understand.
Like, Mom. I was like, oh my.
I know, buddy. Make sure you keep track of your markers so you don't write on your pants.
Okay.
Perfectionism. Perfectionism is something that definitely stems from different things in our childhood. But it shows up in our life in a lot of very relatable ways. According to Google, a few of the ways that perfectionism shows up in our lives are setting unrealistically high expectations for ourselves and others. We're very quick to fault ourselves and blame ourselves. We're very overly critical of our mistakes, and we tend to procrastinate for fear of failure.
5.
Yeah, I see 5, buddy.
Oh.
We tend to procrastinate for fear of failure,
Here.
and we shrug off compliments, and we don't actually accept them, right? It's okay, buddy, you fell asleep.
Yeah.
So when it comes to what we can do about perfectionism, we really have to... Okay, buddy. Okay, you don't have to pretend to sneeze. We really have to address the symptoms one at a time. We have to sit with ourselves and come into awareness of which of these, or there may be others, of these symptoms are the most prevalent in our lives. Have a seat, buddy.
Okay.
That way we know which ones we can focus our energy on, so we can work to heal them, because that's huge. But without that level of awareness and being able to identify which of these is the most prevalent in our life, we won't be able to address them. DJ, have a seat, buddy. Alright, so let's begin with setting unrealistically high expectations for ourselves and others. And this link to perfectionism. Remember that perfectionism really has to do with our idea of what is ideal or what is best or what is easiest or what is quote unquote perfect. The idea of something being perfect already is completely false. Hold on one moment. Hello, robot. The idea of something being perfect is already false because nothing is perfect. I mean, the only things that can be considered perfect are like geometric shapes. Why? Because geometric shapes have to follow a set of rules. Like, there are rules to what makes a square, and they are tangibly measurable. For example, I can measure the angles in a square and say these angles are 90 degrees. I can measure the diagonals in a square and say these angles are 45 degrees. I can measure the length of a square and say each of these sides are 4 inches. Therefore, this is a perfect square because it fits these rules. For very few things in life, there are straight black and white rules that make something true or not true. If for some reason some 4-sided quadrilateral has 89-degree angles, it's not a perfect square because it doesn't have 90-degree angles, right? But for pretty much everything else in life, there are no set of black and white rules that say this is completely true, that's not completely true. There's so much gray area in pretty much everything that pertains to us as humans while we live our lives and while we interact with others and in our sense of community, that this sense of perfection, this whatever, doesn't exist. We all have an idea of what would be perfect for us in our situation, but the fact that it can't be applied to everyone means that it's not truly perfect. Because if it were, it would be universally perfect. A square is universally a square. Doesn't matter where you go, doesn't matter what language, it's always going to be a square if it fits those rules. You gotta quiet down, okay, buddy? So, unrealistically high expectations for ourselves and others. What does this look like? Sometimes in relationships or communication, it's the belief that people should be able to read your mind and assume exactly what you're thinking. It also has to do with, which connects to multiple other points, with the belief that you should be able to just do something once and it comes out exactly how you want it, right? There's no, that kind of goes with having a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. Typically, when you have a growth mindset, you believe that the process of trying new things is the best part of the journey. Whereas if you have a fixed mindset, you believe that some people are just inherently good at certain things and other people are not. So if you try writing poetry for the first time and it doesn't work out, then DJ, do not play your tablet in here. If you're going to play your tablet, you need to go to your room or go downstairs. Okay? Having a fixed mindset means that you believe that you should be able to just try something once, and if you don't get it 100% correct on that very first try, then you're just not skilled in that area and you should just give up. And this connects so deeply to perfectionism because perfectionists tend to be overly critical of their mistakes, right? Like if they make a mistake, it is the end of the world, instead of their thoughts aligning with the fact that mistakes are normal. They are key. You know, you cannot grow and learn new things without taking the time to take risks and make mistakes, right? What Spudwitch was sharing with me yesterday in regards to her ideas of perfectionism were that she needs to do something, but she's not skilled in that area. She needed to edit videos, and she's not skilled in that area. So she's procrastinating in completing, this task because she has a difficult time. I mean, and there's layers to this. Like this, I don't feel this is just perfectionism, but she's procrastinating in completing this project, or posting these YouTube videos and doing the things that she wants to do because she wants to ensure that it's done to her specific expectations. So instead of, well, not instead of, but she's fearful of reaching out to someone else for support because she's concerned that if someone else does it, they're not going to be able to do it exactly how she wants it to be done. You leaving? You got a coat? Okay. Can you give me a kiss? Can you give me? Really? That's how you feel? I'll fight you, bro. Don't make him up. Hi. You got your inhaler? Okay. Family. Yes. So she's fearful to ask for help because she is not confident that whoever she connects with will be able to essentially bring her vision to life exactly how she sees it in her mind. So my suggestion to her was to connect with someone and basically do it with them. She doesn't necessarily have the skills to edit the video, but she knows what she wants as far as, how she wants the video to look, maybe where she wants transitions to be, or which parts she wants to keep versus which parts she wants edited out. Like, those are the things that she does know. And if she doesn't, those are things that she can prepare prior to connecting with someone so they can have a good dialogue and a good conversation and a good back and forth to figure out exactly how to accomplish what she wants to accomplish. The worst thing, of course, you can do is to just expect this person to just know exactly what you want to do when you haven't communicated it to them. And, your reasoning being, well, you're a professional blank. You should be able to just do whatever. And my rule of thumb is always, well, recently been, over communicating is definitely much better in almost every situation than under communicating. Because the more information that you give someone, the better chance they have of, doing whatever needs to get done. And that's just the truth. And they can let you know, once you start communicating with them, okay, cool, I know where to go from here based on what you've told me, right? So this level of perfectionism, or this section of perfectionism, really connects with our the procrastination, not getting things done and not starting things because we fear failure so much that it paralyzes us from even starting the things that we want to start. We're so worried and concerned that whatever we want to do is not going to happen the way that we want it, in the perfect way. We're so concerned that we just don't start at all. And that's a huge problem because now we're missing out on all these opportunities. We're preventing ourselves from pursuing things that we might be very passionate about and really, really enjoy because of this fear of failure. Now, how do you conquer a fear of failure? You practice failing. And the only way to practice failing is to start taking risks. It's small. You can start as small as you need to. It's why I embrace you all, blah, blah, blah. Ham, you can go. It's why I embrace you all for things because I see your strength in many things. Yes, absolutely, right? And that's why, when y'all pop in the chat, I always do my best when I'm shouting you out to sing your praises, because it's really wonderful to hear from someone you love the things that they see that you excel in. Because sometimes we don't see it, right? We're so stuck in our own mind that it's difficult to zoom out and see the areas in which we do excel. And then, when you have a little group like we have, we can support each other in the areas in which either we want to improve or we just don't have the skill set in, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with not having or not being skilled in every single area. You know, there's, again, as I mentioned in a previous video, our setup, or not setup, but as humans, we are designed, by design, to be interdependent. And, you know, for hundreds and hundreds of years, we were very interdependent. And then, slowly but surely, capitalism began taking over, and it became more profitable to be independent. It became more profitable to copyright things and to be the one person who gets credit for whatever instead of sharing. But the honest truth is, everyone is relying on someone. You know, even huge, super successful companies like Nike are dependent upon the people who actually physically make their shoes. You know, so you can't say that you're independent as a huge company when you're still depending on, you know, manpower, physical labor, etc., etc. But the differences in the way that the people who make the shoes are paid versus the people who advertise or the people who are at the top is enormous. Anywho, getting back to, you know, this fear of failure. The way to conquer your fear of failure, or a fear of failure, is to practice failing. You have to put yourself in situations that scare the crap out of you. I don't know why my nose is so phlegmy. Anyways, yeah. So a really wonderful way to start is to lean into the things that scare you. And it can be super, super small. It can be as small as, I don't know, taking your dog for a walk. Maybe it's really difficult to walk your dog, so you're deeply fearful of walking your dog. Well, let's think about that for a moment. You know what I mean? If you have this idea that walking your dog should be super easy and it should always go, you know, smoothly 100% of the time, what are things that you can do to prepare your dog and prepare yourself for that kind of situation? You know, in this example, it's really easy, well, not easy to see, but what's the solution to this problem? You know, training your dog. Taking the time to work with your dog, to train your dog, so that you can have more experiences that are ideal, but you have to put in the work in doing the things that scare you. You know, maybe you are fearful, again, because you have this idea that walking your dog should be easy. You know, having a pet should be an easy experience. But, you know, as we all know, every relationship, including the relationship with our pet, requires work. We can't just get a dog or get a pet and it just exists and everything be great. It's not the way things work. Excuse me, but sometimes we have to be reminded that there's a process to everything. You know, we can't just hop out of bed one day and say, hey, Spuddy's here. We can't just hop out of bed one day and say, everything is going to be great today and everything's going to be perfect and there's nothing that I have to do to make this happen. That's untrue. Good morning, Spuddy Love. How are you feeling today? How did you sleep? And Jonesy, too, how did you sleep, if you slept at all? I hope you did. I hope you slept at least a little bit. But there's always going to be some work that we have to put forward. You know, even if it's in Walmart headed home, I feel you. I feel it. Even if it's, first of all, just confronting the fact that we even have a fear in the first place. Facing the fact, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. Thank you for asking. Hold on just one second, y'all. All right, so even if that starts off as confronting the fact that we have a fear in the first place, confronting and facing the fact that we are afraid of failing, that is something that we fear. So how are ways that we can put this fear in front of us as often as possible, as frequently as possible, a little bit every day? We can really break this down and get to the root of it. Okay, well, I'm afraid of my business failing, right? I'm afraid of my business failing because I feel like if my business fails, then I fail. Well, what does business failure look like? Business failure looks like not making enough sales, not making enough sales to, meet my financial goal at the end of the month. Okay, well, what are some ways that I can meet my financial goal? Well, in order to meet my financial goal, enough people have to buy from my business. Okay, well, how can I get people to buy from my business? I can work on advertising. I can work on marketing. I can work on learning more about content creation. So all of these fears, when we get down to the root and the base of them, have a tangible solution. And that's what we have to understand about perfectionism. Typically, it's related to that instant gratification type thing. If we believe that everything is supposed to be easy and not require any work or any investment as far as time and energy, then perfectionism will absolutely get the best of us, because we don't see that everything in our lives is going to require more than just a snapping of our fingers. And if we can't get to a point where we move through the world and are willing to put in the work and do things that scare us, then we're going to be stuck in this perpetual, I'm not good enough, nothing that I do is good enough, but if we take the time to break these things down, we can almost always come to a tangible solution, whether that be putting in the work, or whether it be allowing others to help us and decreasing our expectations. Instead of allowing others to help us, or not allowing others to help us because we're fearful that the help that they're going to provide for us isn't good enough or isn't up to par, we have to trust and believe that the help that they're going to provide for us is going to be great. You know what I mean? That it's going to be helpful. That that not only is going to be great and it's going to be helpful, but that if any changes need to be made, we can communicate that to this person. We can't have the belief that someone should be able to help us and they're just supposed to know what we need from them, or what we expect our end result to look like. That's completely unrealistic. But again, once we get down to the things that we are responsible for, once we get down to what are the steps that I need to take in order to accomplish whatever goal that I want to accomplish, things become clearer. They don't necessarily become easier, but they definitely become clearer. And, another component of this is, as I mentioned before, things are not always linear or black and white. But 10 times out of 10, if you're following, a marketing plan or something that someone has put together, if you actually do the things that they're doing, or the things that they're saying. What's up, buddy?
Spot was here. Did you say good morning to me?
No, she didn't know you were here. Where's the phone? You can say good morning on the phone. 10 times out of 10, if you're actually following the plan that these people have put down and have shared, it's going to work. Most of the time, we give up way too soon. And I know that these plans say, this is the amount of time that it will take to accomplish this goal. There she is. Good morning, DJ.
Good morning, Spud.
It's never going to say, do these steps and get results in 3 days. Well, some of them do. But I think that's where we have to adjust our expectations and know that whatever we're trying to accomplish is going to take some time. I was speaking to my husband's uncle months ago, before I had my son, we were at his dad's house for like a get together or something like that, and I'm talking to him, and I was telling him about what I wanted to do in college, and I've always wanted to.
On the top.
I don't know. It's just someone who came in and said blah blah blah, and then they left. They're not there anymore, I don't think, buddy, because they haven't said anything else. We're having a conversation about.
Is he a robot?
No, DJ, they're just not there anymore. They're gone.
She'll be here later.
I don't think so.
Oh, that looks like a battery place.
Yeah. I was telling him about the things that I wanted to do in school.
Like a robot.
And, you know, that I didn't take certain classes because it was going to take a long time for me to get enrolled into the classes, so I just didn't even bother. And his response was, you know, the time is going to pass anyway. I'm like, you're right. You know, so we have all of these preconceived notions that things are supposed to happen quickly. You know, things are supposed to happen fast. I'm not truly successful unless things happen quickly. And for the people that things do happen quickly for, typically it's because they have a lot of money to invest. But things still take time. You know, even if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in advertising, it's still going to take time for people seeing your advertisement to buy your product, invest in you, or whatever. Excuse me. So what are some ways that you can do that organically, you know? I remind everything, hey, good morning, Fergie. I remind everyone, you know, the less money you have to invest, the more work you're going to do up front, you know, yourself. If you have money to pay for ads, then that's going to take a little bit off your plate. If you have money to pay for someone to do marketing for you, that's going to take a little bit off your plate. But if you don't have money to pay for those things and pay for someone to do those things for you, then you're going to be doing it yourself, which means you're going to be putting in more work. And that might mean that, you know, your process takes a little bit longer, but that's okay. You know, that's really okay. When it comes to reframing and, oh, thank you. It's legit like, it's giving androgyny, you know, it's giving, is that a boy or is that a girl? Thank you though. I know, buddy, I'm not ready for that.
Oh.
Okay, look, Fergie is here. Do you want to say hi?
Yes.
Okay, here you go. Thanks, boo.
You'll do that in just a minute.
I'll do it. I'll do it when I'm done. When it comes to adjusting these unrealistic expectations, again, we have to come to a level.
Oh, you said hi, teacher.
Yeah, she did. You have to come to a level of awareness, you know. Is it possible for me to make $1 million in revenue in a business in a month? Yes. Is it possible for me to make $1 million in revenue in a business in my first month of business? No. However, if I do the things that I need to do and take the steps I need to take, I can make my way to make progress to move towards accomplishing that goal. But to assume that I can just... DJ, stop.
Okay.
To assume that I can just hit the ground running and make $1 million, you know, and when it comes to figuring out how to kind of ground yourself, look for examples of that, you know? Look for examples of businesses that made $1 million in revenue their first month of business. That should help, you know, you mentally understand that this expectation is unrealistic. Because if it hasn't been done before, multiple times, not just some one and done kind of situation, you know, but if it hasn't been done multiple times and you can find record of it, then it's not real. You know, it's not real. And again, awareness has a huge part to do with this. Coming into awareness, addressing the things that you're thinking, addressing your thoughts, addressing your expectations, and really breaking things down and saying, here I am right here, where I feel like whatever I want to do is completely unattainable, you know, and I fear failure, and I believe that, you know, my expectations are reasonable and that everything that I want to happen should happen, you know, at the level in which I want it to happen. Not right now, buddy. Sitting down and having a conversation with yourself, you know, why is it that I want these things? Why is it that I want my business to make $1 million in revenue the same month that I opened it or the same month that I started it? You know, why is it that I want to come into a new position at a business or at a company and immediately be promoted to, you know, whatever position? You know, why do I want these things? Why is that important to me? So, it's really important. It's important. I want to be rich. Okay, Jonesy, let's talk about it. What does being rich look like to you? Is it more of a dollar amount that you are bringing into your account every month? Or is it a certain lifestyle that you want to have? Let's talk about it. And it might be a little bit of both. You know, it's totally possible for it to be a little bit of both. But let's talk about it. Because why not, you know? Because when I hear I want to be rich, in my mind, I think I want to not have to struggle financially. I want bills to be second nature and be able to give money away without issue. Beautiful. So for you, it's a matter of a certain lifestyle. It's being able to have a certain level of freedom with your finances. If somebody comes to you and says, "Hey Jones, I need $1,000," you're like, "No problem. Here's $1,000. Got you." Now, what is the dollar amount that you need? Like, living where you're living right now, all of those things, are you completely okay with where you are physically? You know what I mean? Like, typically we want to be living in a different situation, and sometimes it requires more money and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it requires more money up front. Like Grover and I want to build a house that's going to require more money up front versus, you know, we might not be paying. I need to be able to afford a BBL. Jones. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyways, like I was saying before Jones he lost me. He'll come back to center, don't worry. When I think of being rich, like for me, similar to something like Jones is saying, a certain level of financial freedom. At the end of every month, I don't want to be completely tapped out for cash. You know? What if the missus wants one? Cal is here. Thank you for lurking, Cal. Thank you for being here. I will check in with you later, my love, to make sure you're having a good day so far. What if the missus wants one? Why would you assume that the missus will want a BBL? Anyways, financial freedom. Financial freedom. I think we have to ask ourselves, first of all, how much does that look like? It's the what if. How much does that look like each month? Because if we have a number, a quantifiable goal, as far as a dollar amount each month, that's much easier to aim for instead of just saying financial freedom. Because typically the more we begin to earn, the more expenses we accumulate. So if we are committed to creating essentially a budget, you know, like I'm not going to spend any more than, I mean, granted, I'm in California. I pay $2,200 for rent each month, and I'm renting. The house that my ex and I bought in 2019, the mortgage is like $1,500. So that just tells you something. That was 3 years ago. This dream was for me. Yes, it absolutely is, beloved. Absolutely is for you. So let's say that my goal, let's say that my if I still live in California, I did say that, I will not pay any more than $3,000 a month on a mortgage, right? I refuse to do that. So that's a part of my a part of my my number that I have to shoot above for financial freedom, right? My car, I only have one more payment and then that'll be paid off. If I purchase another car, I'd like to pay for it cash. Now, I know that my car isn't going to go out within the next couple years, so that'll give me some time to save for a car. You know, Hubs and I save for a car if we want to purchase one cash.
Somebody's here.
Huh?
Is somebody here?
Where?
Is somebody's there?
No.
It's just Jones and his butt.
Yeah.
And Mom and Fergie.
More or less Fergie, yeah. So, hearing that I want to be rich, the best thing I can do for myself. Calandros.
Did you say hi to me?
No, because he's lurking. That means that he's watching the stream, but he's busy. You can message him, but I don't think he's gonna message back. I need to take the time to figure out what that number is for me. Now, for me right now, I feel like that number would probably be about $5,000 or $6,000 a month, and that would be, you know, that I'm bringing in for me personally. And then of course, Hubs can bring in his own, you know, $5,000 or $6,000 a month, right? So now we are bringing in 10 grand a month. You know, our mortgage is no more than 3 grand. You know, so now we're getting somewhere. Now I know that we'll have enough expendable income to make investments, to build businesses, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, the money will continue to perpetuate. But this idea of, you know, rich being the perfect thing, it comes with its own cost. And I think that's what people fail to see. You know, being rich, wealthy, financially free, it comes with its own cost. Not only that, but we have to build up to that point. You don't just wake up and be financially free. You have to invest and make certain decisions and make lots of sacrifices in order to get there. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to be financially free or wanting to be rich. Hello, little baby. But, you know, are you willing to, are you willing to commit to, you know, not eating anything but the groceries you buy from the store for a year? You know, can you make that kind of sacrifice? And, you know, saying that kind of thing sounds like, yeah, no problem, I can totally do that. But then take into consideration, you know, how often do you eat at places that aren't, you know, food that you make from home?
This is ham.
I know, buddy, I saw it. How often do you eat fast food? How often do you know, are you out with friends and you're eating at a restaurant? You know, are you willing to say no to those situations and instead maybe invite people over, because then you can cook at home? You know what I mean? How committed are you to really saving and investing and doing things that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? Perfectionism itself is uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable, bless you, in almost a stagnant kind of way, because we're mentally forcing ourselves not to move, because we believe that if we move and if we take a risk, things are not going to turn out the way that we planned, or things are not going to turn out the way that we assume that they should.
Oh, legs.
And that prevents us from taking any action at all, because the assumption is, you know, if I take action, it's going to end up poorly. Or if I do take action and things do go well, you know, but not to that perfect standard, then it's not good enough. It's absolutely not good enough. So in a nutshell, when it comes to taking the steps to heal from perfectionism, first things first is practicing a certain level of awareness, whether that be through journaling, whether that be through meditation. You have to get very clear on how perfectionism is holding you back. Is it that you're overly critical of yourself? Is it that you have unrealistically high expectations for yourself? Is it that you deeply fear failure to the point where you just don't do anything at all because you're so concerned that you're going to fail? Get very, very clear on how perfectionism impacts you, right? And then take whatever that biggest hurdle is. Okay, buddy, okay. Take whatever that biggest hurdle is and start breaking it down. Break it down into its most tangible steps. You know, if it's the expectations, you know, dig into that. What does that look like? You know, what do those expectations look like? What happens, or what's the mental consequence if things don't turn out the way... I see it, buddy. I see it. I see it, buddy. If things don't turn out the way that you assume that they should, or, you know, you perceive that they should, or you expect that they should, what's the consequence? How does it make you feel? You know, when did you begin to feel this way? You know, when everything has a root and everything has a reason behind it. After you determine that, you know, what steps can you take to prevent yourself from continuing to think those thoughts and have those beliefs? How can you disrupt those perfectionism beliefs on a regular basis and allow yourself the freedom to make mistakes, the freedom to expect less of yourself and expect less of others, the freedom to actually celebrate your achievements instead of just brushing it off and thinking, yeah, well, this is only, you know, step 1 of 1,000 that I need to do. Because not celebrating the things that you've accomplished, you know, you're doing yourself a disservice. You've done a phenomenal job, and you should be able to sing your own praises before moving on to the next step, or even accepting the praises that other people sing for you. You know what I mean? Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
So when it comes to, you know, healing from this, it's going to look a little different from everyone, but the first step is always going to be coming into awareness. Always. Coming into awareness, determining, again, you know, how this limits you the most. How is perfectionism limiting you the most? Because if you can label it and call it perfectionism, that means that, okay, buddy, that means that there's something that you can identify as limiting. If you can say, man, I wish I wasn't such a perfectionist, you know, why? What makes you say that? What specifically is happening in your life or in your daily whatever that makes you feel or makes you believe that being a perfectionist is limiting you? And then you take it from there. Absolutely do. Beloveds, it's been a wonderful conversation. I appreciate your patience as my son pops in and out, having little side conversations to himself. I hope that this conversation was beneficial. I hope that you learned some things. I hope that if this is something that you'd like to work on and you need some guidance and support, I'd be happy to help you. As a self-love coach for Black women, I am accepting new clients. If you're interested in working with me, the link to schedule a free consultation call is going to be in the description below here on my YouTube channel. If you're catching the stream live on Twitch, you can visit my YouTube channel, you can visit my TikTok, you can visit my Instagram, and all of those will have the link to schedule a call with me to see if we're a great fit to work together, because this is something that I would absolutely love to help you work through. And being able to work through this is always going to be, like I mentioned, a little bit different based on your situation and your past and how perfectionism impacts you. But it's not something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. It's absolutely something that you can heal from, you can grow from, and you can learn from. So again, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching. If you're catching this replay on YouTube, please leave me a thumbs up, comment below with your thoughts, opinions, perspectives, and subscribing to my YouTube channel will also be very helpful. I appreciate all the free ways, or I appreciate you doing any or all of the free things to support my channel so I can get in front of more people. That is all for today. Do you want to say bye? Yeah, go over here so they can see you.
No, it's Spud.
Huh?
That's Spud.
Hey, Yama. I'm just ending, boo.
Oh, can I say hi?
Yeah. Where's the phone? Oh, it's right here. Uh-oh. Hold on.
Uh-oh. You could try.
You did, boo.
You could try.
Thank you, love.
Can you try?
DJ says hi, Yama.
DJ said hi. That's bad. Oh,
She
hey,
said,
DJ.
hey, DJ. Alright, love bugs. I will catch most of y'all in Discord, and everyone else, I'll catch you
Hey, I'm Zona.
tomorrow for another conversation. Hope y'all have a beautiful day. Bye.